Hello and welcome to Trashy, where we take a dumpster dive on this week's garbage people and a look at all the trashiest news stories. My name is Erica and I'm your host.
My name is Cassandra and I'm your other host. Welcome back, everyone who went to Coachella.
Hey, how was that? How was that?
Yeah, was it fun? Was it good? Who's to say? Who could actually know?
Oh, this bandana, Blink-182 dropped this bandana and that you're wearing it. That's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, but we can't hate on people who go to Coachella, right?
No.
Is there anything trashier?
I mean, truly, I feel like in this time, no, it's like it's peaked and it's declined.
Yeah. So if you're going to the in the downhill of Coachella, then hold on. Let me make some things clear about my opinions. And because it's really important, because this is our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to Coachella every year and that's just like your thing, because like I have some like acquaintances who they go every year and that's just like their thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like, all right, that's a weird thing. It's not my thing, but I respect it. You know, at this point, like it's like, well, of course they're going. They go as a couple every year and they get the Ferris wheel photo. So like, fine. But like if this is your first year going to Coachella and you're, especially if you're like our age.
In the year of our Lord, 2023.
Yeah, like, and you're not an influencer. You're not an influencer. You're not in your early 20s, which the people in their early 20s don't go because Coachella's like lame now. You're going for your first time now. That's where I want to check in and be like, how's everything at home?
If your first year. Now,
like, did you just get a diagnosis that is making you cross things off of a bucket list? Or like, are you, what's going on that you think now, after Beyonce's played, after Billie Eilish has played, you know, like after the heyday of Coachella, after you're in your 30s, now you're going is like, yeah, I'm like, huh.
Is there some type of social engineering where someone has a family member kidnapped and the only way they'll let them out is if you go to Coachella for the first time mid-30s?
I mean, that's certainly the circumstances where I would go because I've never been. And so I know that my Coachella time has passed. But yeah, I mean, if it was to save a family member, but like, let's not talk about that too much because that's a great movie. We got to write it.
Oh, that's a great one.
We got to write it. Maybe we can get Coachella to sponsor it because, they need to get back into a favorable light.
Let me just take Golden Voice, their parent company, they think they own Ella, ELLA. You can't call something Ella. They'll send you a cease and desist.
Like Trashella?
Yeah, we couldn't, if we had Trashella, they would slap a cease and desist with us so bad. And I tried to trademark. I was in a legal battle with them at one point. So I tried to trademark Ella so that we could continue to add Ella to the thing I had started.
Okay.
A comedy music festival.
Right.
Called, it's not the Ella, it's the Chella, CHELLA, that they get real. Oh no, I can talk about it because they changed the name.
That's what it was.
Yeah. I founded a comedy music festival called For 3 years, we flew under the radar and then we got too big. We flew too close to the sun and Golden Voice sent us a no, please, a C&D, a cease and desist. And I'm like, I'll fucking patent, I'll fucking trademark Chella right now. I got on the phone with my lawyer buddy. I was like, walk me through this process. I got to slap Golden Voice with the trademark in front. And they were like, just go home. This isn't the battle you think it's going to be. I'm like, I'm Billie Jean King. I'm going to fight the man. We're like,
you would have
just go.
Made it on the news for sure. That would have been a story that we would have covered if
100%.
We were around back then, you know? I mean, like we were around, like you and I knew each other, but like the press, wasn't around, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I think more about Coachella later because I really am dying to hear why you crash.
Okay, so I've been looking for new work, and I was having a conversation with a friend, a listener, a little baby trash can.
Cool.
And we're talking about different things I could do for work, etc. And they said, have you thought about being a sub? And Cassandra,
Sure.
I go, I really think I have Dom energy. And then they took a beat and they were like, I meant substitute teacher. Have you thought about being a sub? LA has rotted my brain to when I hear the terms Dom and sub. I think, or when I hear sub, even I just think, oh, we're talking about like, oh my God, what's it called?
So like a
DMT. What am I thinking of? DMT.
You're thinking of dominatrix, or you're thinking of
yes, dominatrix. But what is that called? Like
BDSM.
BDSM. Thank you.
You're like EMT.
EMT.
The EMT is ambulance. BDSM is kinky fun section.
Oh, maybe that's why I keep when I call 911, they don't send something.
I need to BDSM quick.
What's your 911? What's your emergency?
Send BDSM.
BDSM.
I'm having chest pains.
Like, what do you want? Someone to come sit on you in a cat mask?
Oh, I've been so bad. I need BDSM.
Does anyone in this restaurant know BDSM? He can't breathe. He's choking.
Oh, yeah. I did something naughty. Come help us.
I didn't chew my food all the way.
Ooh, no, we're getting into a different territory.
To different games. But yeah, I thought when he said, have you thought about being a sub? I was like, I thought I could be like a dominatrix. And they were talking about substitute teaching. And that's why I'm trash. And LA has rotted my brain completely. So
yeah, I mean, it's more interesting too that like, because you thought that they were suggesting that you could be like a sub for someone, the BDSM type, the 50 Shades of Grey experience, if you will, because that is the plot to at least the first book of 50 Shades of Grey, is that woman meets the uber rich, handsome billionaire, and then signs a contract to be his sub. And he does support her life. So, it's not like your brain was going to perhaps a job opportunity. It's just kind of interesting to me that you didn't go, oh, I don't think I'm there yet. I don't think I'm at like sex for money yet.
Yeah.
But thanks. You said maybe, but probably a different person in that same field.
Yeah. I was like, I'm more of like into the leadership opportunities. Is there a path for that? I think my career could advance in such a beautiful way.
A leadership opportunity, like becoming a madam?
I don't know. My brain was just like, how can I go from individual contributor to leader?
Yeah.
Anyway, why are you trash?
So I danced my heart out at my wedding. A lot of us did, we really left it all out on the floor. And prior to that, I had these gorgeous little blue heels that were just so uncomfortable. So like I switched to tennis shoes by the time I was really cutting it up, but that's not to say that I didn't injure myself. I was so sore the next day, and in particular, my two big toes were in quite a lot of pain. I thought I probably maybe have injured my toes. This pain did not go away as I was walking, 5 to 10 miles a day in Europe every day. I just kind of stuck it through. My toes became like swollen and red, and then kind of went down. Like I was like, what is up with the universal healthcare in Europe? Because I might need to take advantage of it at some point. I might need a BDSM to help me walk again.
Yes.
I don't know. Anyways.
Well, in the UK, you call 999 for the BDSMs to come and get you.
Right, but I wasn't in the UK. I was in the EU. So like what? I think actually we did see it like an ambulance and it had the number and Taylor was like, remember that one because that's what you call instead of 911. I said, okay. And I don't remember it. So
I do think that I'm sorry to interrupt, but I do think at this point, like in most countries, if you call the emergency number of like 911 or something, like a lot of them still dispatch in because they know that people are like Americans are stupid.
well, and also like we dictate the culture. Ryan Murphy's 911 isn't called 999 in the UK, but I digress. Anyways, that's all to say I've sustained a long-term injury from my tomfoolery at the wedding. Wow. And finally, a couple weeks, or like 2 weekends ago, I was down at my parent-in-law's house. I don't know, like when it's both of them. Your parents-in-law.
I think it's just in-laws.
Oh, duh. Okay. Wow, you learn something new. I was in my in-laws' house, and my in-laws have a pool. So I had to get in that thing. Jump off the diving board, of course, the only way to enter a pool, and come up for air. A gorgeous perfume commercial, like just absolutely stunning how I looked. But I felt something loose down below. And I was like, huh, what's that? So I look and, my lovely husband had gifted me a pedicure for my birthday. So I had seen the condition of these toes when the toenail polish came off, and one was bruised. The other one, like, it looked kind of bad, but it was okay. So my toes are bright blue now. And so I'm go back to the pool and I'm looking down, something is loose. And on my right toe, I see on the big toe that the bright blue toenail on the big toe is askew.
Oh.
And I go, okay. So I never had such a thing happen to me. So I was like, Taylor. As I try to get out of the pool, I'm like, Taylor, so I didn't know what to do. And, we had some friends with us and I was like, no one is going to want to get into the pool knowing I have this condition. And he was like, what's up? But like, he doesn't realize it's a problem. So he's like, what's up? What's going on? And which then gets the attention of everyone else. Cause I'm like, Taylor. Like everyone's like, what's wrong? And I was like, oh, nothing, nothing at all. Just experiencing something I've never had before. I get out of the pool. This toenail, she's hanging on for dear life. And it is the entire toenail. It was horrifying. So then again, Taylor's like, what's going on? And everyone else is like, what's going on? To a point where then my in-laws are like, what's going on? They weren't even in the pool. They were out. And I was like, holy shit, do we want to call the mayor as well to see what's going on? Like, I don't know. I'm in a new arena. Okay. I didn't play sports growing up. Okay. Because I was like, I think my toenail's coming off. Okay. Is everyone happy? And everyone's like, oh, that's totally normal. That happened to me when I played softball. That happened to me when I played soccer. I'm like, okay, I didn't. I am not sporty. Okay. Your toenails do not fall off when you do fucking plays. No one in drama class was getting injured. So
the Merchant of Venice does not require a toenail.
No, we were nice kids who kept our toenails on. Okay. Not even in show choir. No one, this wasn't happening to people.
Oh,
the worst thing that happened was someone in show choir's appendix burst. Okay. That's what happens to nice kids, not you monsters who play sports who are just losing toenails willy-nilly. Anyways, she was like Poppy Montgomery girl. She left without a trace. It was off. I tried to return it back to its rightful place, and girl, the whole thing just was off. She was Poppy Montgomery. She left without a trace, mama. It was gone. And I screamed because I am faced with the 360 view of what a toe looks like. God. Everyone's laughing at me. because apparently everyone's been to the Olympics and this has happened to them multiple times. My mother-in-law, who used to be an EMT, not to be confused with BDSM, a real life EMT, holds out her hand to receive the toe because she doesn't want me going inside, and getting the wood floors wet with pool water.
Right.
And I politely was like, absolutely not. This is my cross to bear. Like, I'm not going to hand you my toenail. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess my swimming day has ended as soon as it started. And everyone's like, why? And I was like, you want me in there with my toe like this?
Without a
like,
shell?
Yeah. And they're like, well, it's not like it wasn't bleeding. Like, obviously, this has been detached for a while and she was just waiting to come off. There's no blood. There wasn't even painful.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, it's just your toe. It's probably even good for it to be in the water. It'll clean it. And I'm like, and that doesn't make you not want to swim? To know that you're all swimming in like a big vat of Neosporin for my toe, basically. And everyone's like, yeah, we're all good. And I was like, okay. And so, I guess whatever. And then I just like 1/10 of a fresh pedicure gone. And now I've got this like freak toe.
As someone that's broken this has happened 8 times to me growing up. Ugh. All but the big toes. I've like broken or like sprained or like had to tape toes together to walk. And you just sprinkle a little sheep tranquilizer on it, and then you tape them together and you just get back out on the field.
I'm sorry. Did you say sprinkle a little sheep tranquilizer on it?
I'm sure there was some medicine, there was always something. Yeah. I know people that were injected with animal tranquilizers and cortisol shots and then taped up and got back up out on the field if it were like a state championship or something. Yeah. Like, I'm like, what is this, the NFL? Well, you guys are doping 16-year-olds. But of course, at the time, it made all the sense in the world because it was state. It was the state tournament,
Well, This is new for me. So it was traumatic. And I guess I'm just slightly comforted by the fact that everyone else has gone through it. But didn't love it. Didn't love it at all. Oh, sorry. Apparently, Taylor says that he was a lot more subtle in my time of distress than I'm just story.
There's nothing worse than a partner when you're like, hey, I need you to, and they go, what are you saying? And you're like, I need you to not call attention to this moment. Oh,
yeah.
Man.
Do you think you were subtle in that moment? You're smiling. You know you weren't subtle in that moment. Are you kidding me?
You took a vow, Taylor. You took a vow to be subtle when someone's toe is falling off.
Yeah, you took a vow that when I come at you like, you understand that means Taylor, shut up. Whatever. Okay.
You know how you mentioned Ryan Murphy's 911. Have you seen this clip circulating social media from the show?
What, a clip from the show circulating? No. No.
Okay. So Rob Lowe is playing a paramedic in Ryan Murphy's 911. And there's a man that has been frozen. That's all we know. The clip sets it up. Rob Lowe then tries to do CPR and starts with the chest compressions. And Cassandra, I tell you, I wish this body was cake. He pushes on the rib, he pushes on, does the CPR, and the body caves in. It is the most unserious thing and the most disturbing thing I've ever seen simultaneously. I'll have to send it to you. People have been sharing this left and right. I've watched it 1,500 times. I haven't started a new series this week because I've just been watching this clip from Ryan Murphy's 911, this 15-second clip over and over and over again.
Wait,
it's insane.
Hold on. I need to see it immediately.
Yes.
I found it.
Okay.
Is it a joke? Like, is it supposed to be serious?
I think it's played to be serious.
What?
That's insane.
It does look like cake.
I hope it's cake. It's not. It's a frozen body that gets caved in. It's a prop, but yeah.
It's a prop, but I don't think that his reaction was accurate.
Big enough?
Yeah, he's like immediately in a state of shock, and someone else goes, but like,
that man's dead.
If you do a chest compression and someone collapses like cake, like literally like skin breaks off, I mean, like an ice cube, I suppose, and you're not screaming and immediately running in front of a moving train to forget that memory.
Forever.
Yeah, screaming forever. Like, you can't even buy therapy that could make that make sense.
I bet he's wishing he had chose to be a dom right now instead of a paramedic.
I mean, as a dom, you know, you like crack me like a frozen body, you know.
That'll be I'll use that in my arsenal when I become a dom.
I'm gonna crack you like a frozen body.
Maybe if I become a dom, I'll have enough money to go to Coachella next year.
Yeah, I mean, we did discuss how that was a midlife crisis, but we at Trashy are not above a midlife crisis, and so we'd like to share some Coachella stories from festivalsherpa.com.
These are 10 insane Coachella stories that will leave you in splits.
And we're not actually doing 10 of them, just so everyone knows, because we, you know, these are our stories to tell.
No, but user Jackie B says, we introduced a new dude to our crew, Coachella 2014, a friend of a friend type thing. He dropped acid early Sunday and was just as we cleared security, it hit him, and he was withdrawing cash from the ATM. There are no words to describe the elation as money poured from the ATM. He just kept punching in his PIN number and money just kept coming out as he laughed with pure joy. He kept grabbing the cash, shaking it with his fist and shoving it in his pocket. I've never seen this done. He must have done this 4 times before we stopped him. I've never seen a chap so excited to see his own money.
I mean, acid turned him into the Monopoly man. But a bummer for him because he's probably paying big fees every time that he uses
$8 every time he withdraws, and then he's just Scrooge McDucking his own money.
That's wholesome, though. You know, for me, I think it's nice. We also have from user JPL47. This was Coachella 2015 weekend 2, Friday around 8 p.m. Their first Coachella. Me and my good buddy were tripping pretty hard. Between Ryan Hemsworth and Caribou, there was a little bit of a gap. These are bands, I'm assuming. There was a little bit of gap in which we just wandered around looking at shit. As we approached the Do Lab to check out Lucent Dossier, I realized I had to take a shit. One of my least favorite experiences on acid. But luckily, there was one of those actual bathrooms right next to the Do Lab, and I didn't have to resort to a porta potty. The line is long. I'm pretty uncomfortable being around a ton of other dudes in the same situation as I am, and I'm tripping too hard to make eye contact with anyone. Luckily, my friend is cool, so he waited in line with me. But we ended up not talking very much, as everything sort of reverted to giggling about nothing. As I got to the front of the line, I began to notice that people had been walking through the exit and entering the stalls before people who had been waiting in the line had a chance. I don't believe people were doing this intentionally because it wasn't very obvious which side was entrance and which was exit. So I was the next person in line. I saw someone start to come from the other side, and I said, "Hey, man, there's a line over there." And everyone behind me in line erupted in applause. It made me feel like a king. Then I took the rightful place on the porcelain throne and sat there for all of 3 minutes before I realized I didn't have to poop anymore.
TLDR, I am the poop king.
You know what's interesting is a lot of these stories have to do with needing to take a poop on acid and then not actually even pooping.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting.
Oh my gosh.
They all have to do with doing drugs too. It seems. Have you been to Coachella, babe?
No, I've been to a ton of other music festivals. I bought tickets to Coachella and then sold them, but no, I've never gone.
Yeah.
I think the second year I moved here, I was like, stayed up, got tickets as soon as they went on, did this whole thing. And then I was like, wait, I don't have any friends or know anything about planning how to go there. So I sold them.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
very fair. We'll do one more. Dealer's choice, whatever your favorite one is.
Doing drugs makes you super generous.
Great. That's a good one.
A guy his friends had left him at a campground. The man needed to be on a flight back to Illinois a few hours later. And he told my friend, take me to LAX. And I said, it's $475 to go to LAX. He paid with his credit card and gave me $100 tip in cash when we got there. He was passed out the entire way.
I mean, from the Coachella Valley to LAX, that is a long drive. I mean, that's 3-4 hours
without traffic. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, to drive someone who's passed out the whole time, you could just throw in an audiobook and then they give you $100 tip. Plus, I mean, how high could Uber fees possibly be? Or wait,
I think this
was
is
this
just
even an Uber?
Cab.
This is a guy?
Cab. Yeah.
Wow. Like, I'm hoping that this cab driver actually lives like closer to LA than
in
the Coachella Valley.
Yeah.
But
yeah. My goodness. So last weekend was weekend 1 of Coachella. As you're listening to this, weekend 2 will have wrapped. And the Sunday night headliner for weekend 1 was Frank Ocean. But a lot of things happened during Frank's set, and he withdrew from weekend 2. He's just not in the right mental headspace. A lot going on. But we have some perspective from somebody that attended weekend 1's performance of Frank Ocean.
It's the perspective of a pickpocket, a Coachella pickpocket, which we love that this perspective is available. We don't love that people pickpocket. Let me just make that clear.
Yes. Yeah. We love that they're giving their perspective though. So
yeah.
Reddit user X Pace Energy Drink says, I've seen many opinions on Frank Ocean's controversial headlining set, but one voice has not been known, the voice of the Coachella pickpocket, me and my team of co-pickpockets. So simply put, we all feel your pain. It was a very disappointing headlining set, according to many.
A lot of people had complaints about this, and it was, it didn't make a lot of sense to me, but it was all the rage.
Yeah. So his bizarre, disjointed set left the pickpocket community very empty-handed. They have a roving team of bandits, and they go to great lengths to spend countless hours observing festival goer behavior and know the absolute best time to swipe someone's iPhone, or in desperate cases, an Android. And on paper, Frank's set seemed like the ideal scenario. A nighttime of dreamy tunes when most of the festival goer population would be exhausted and unlikely to be paying close attention to their personal belongings. But first, there was an hour delay.
Yeah, Frank Ocean was an hour late to perform, which was the beginning of why everyone was pissed off about this.
So he had originally planned for an ice skating rink to be on stage and performers be ice skating mid his set. But then last minute, he decided he didn't want that. So they had to spend an hour melting the ice. So people, of course, waiting in that hour were just sitting around talking to their friends.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah. There was an ice
I didn't know that
rink.
That was like, you're literally, as an artist, allowed to make that decision right then and there, knowing that it's going to result in these workers having to melt the ice and make you an hour late. And you have an ice skating rink in the Coachella Valley, which is the middle of the fucking desert.
Yeah. So it took like an hour for it to melt. So people had, their phones in their hands, talking to their friends. Obviously not an ideal time to pickpocket. So the author and the rest of his CPC, the Coachella pickpocket crew, were unfazed and decided we'd, kind of bide our time. And then, when the ice rink full of figure skaters started to dazzle, we'd have all the distraction we needed. But again, no figure skaters, no ice rink, nothing remotely interesting to look at on stage, as if the crowd wasn't preoccupied with like frozen lasers or drone caterpillars. It's, how are we going to grab and jailbreak and sell dozens, if not hundreds of phones? Yeah, they grabbed a few phones, they said, our victims. We prefer to call them marks. The author says they were just sad, confused, and distracted by what was happening on stage. So
they had a chance to grab a few phones.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't grab them. What they're saying is that they they opted not to grab these people's phones because they just were too sad and confused on what was happening on stage. He had to bring it around and be like, we may be pickpockets, but we have standards. And in this case, we would have been kicking people while they were down, aka stealing their phones.
So the author's like, listen, we were hurt by Frank Ocean as well. And, we'll see you and your phones in the desert in 2024.
If you ever get pickpocketed at Coachella, just know that they only got you because you look like you're having a good time.
It is kind of comforting. Yeah.
I have a friend who's had her phone stolen twice at music festivals. And like this friend goes to a lot of the music festivals. So she I think it had happened within the span of 2 weeks.
Oh my God.
That she had her phone stolen twice. And her husband was like, hey, can you stop putting your iPhone in your back pocket?
Yeah.
And your tiny shorts. But she's like, well, because she's not wearing very much else for clothing. Mm-hmm. She's like, well, where else is it supposed to go?
In your hand constantly.
Yeah, I think that's what she switched to. She bought a pop socket so it was more comfortable to hold.
There you go. Pop sockets have saved so many phones. But where I sometimes find the best pop sockets is Walmart.
Yes. And from the NewYorkPost.com, Walmart had to remove an offensive shirt because there was a hidden curse word in it and there was complaints. Ooh. Walmart has removed a certain t-shirt from its stores as a customer noticed that it had been emblazoned with a very rude word. So picture this, if you will, a green sports wear shirt, I don't know what you work out in. And it says really big on it, R-E, like huge on half of it. And then the other half says things like in smaller letters, cycle. And under that, use. Under that, new. Under that, think. Recycle, reuse. You get it. So the issue is that cycle, use, new, think, all lined up right there. Their first letters spell cunt.
The charisma, the uniqueness, the nerve, and the talent to make such a shirt.
The see you next Tuesday of words. So everyone was like, oh my God, there's a Walmart shirt that says cunt.
What would the trashy version? Cunning, unique, nuanced, trashy. Oh, what would our C-U-N-T be? Like RuPaul on Drag Race is cunning, charming, uniqueness, nerve, talent.
Right.
And theirs is cycle, use, new, think. I'm just trying to think of ours. Cunning, unique, nuanced, trashy.
Are we cunning or nuanced?
Nah.
Cunning, having or showing skill in achieving one's ends by deceit or evasion. Okay. Nuanced. We
really approach the news in a nuanced way, I think.
Characterized by subtle shades of meaning or expression. Yeah. I don't know if that works. What did you have for you? Because unique. I would say that we were unique. How about crass?
Yes. Okay. Better. Yeah. Okay.
Or you know what? No. Capable. Yeah, we're capable. Because we are tragedy. So capable, unique, new. We're not really nationwide.
We're global, baby.
Natural, never failing.
Yeah.
Except I guess when we do fail. Number one, naked, never ending with this bit.
Yes.
Just some narcissistic.
Good one.
Yeah. Trashy. Yeah. Of course. Obviously the T would be trashy.
Yeah. The shirt was available in the Canadian Walmarts and it was on sale for $5. And it was from a Walmart Walmart owned George fashion brand. And you can get it on Amazon now for around $20 as well.
I mean, people are like, oh my God, this is so funny. But to be honest, I don't know if I would have caught it. This is something that only an internet person who, maybe if you're good at word puzzles, you would see it right away. It is maybe activating the Wordle parts of people's brains. So
what are those called? Acoustics, right? No, not acoustic.
it's not acoustic.
Acoustic.
When every letter stands for a word. What is it? An acronym? Or an initialism?
Because it's not like sonar. Like sonar is like an acronym, but this is where like the words spell something. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I didn't pass grammar.
Yeah.
It seems we all know that.
I mean, I thought that sonar was how whales communicated, but it's actually something else. Or do whales use sonar? We don't have time for this. How about we take a break?
We're back. The fashions of Coachella are always so interesting. And I found this beautiful article from Texas Monthly about Magnolia Pearl, which is this brand of clothing that looks like your like mini pearl, or as it's been described by the author, Victorian Ghost meets Burning Man boho. These clothings, it's this brand out of Texas called Magnolia Pearl. It's extremely expensive, but you look like you've been set on fire and your clothes have been torn. It's a stealth wealth kind of thing.
Hardly though. I mean, yeah, it's I'm not a huge fan. It's giving like if you're trying to live a sort of Stevie Nicks fantasy. I'm on the website right now, and like one of their most featured models is like a blonde woman with dreads. So I don't know if that teaches you like what you need to know, or like there's like a cashmere v-neck long sleeve shirt that looks like the same long sleeve shirt you could buy at like a Walmart, but from here it's $325. So you get it. White women who wear like a lot of turquoise jewelry, like just to put you in the right headspace.
Yeah. It's it looks like something you would be shredded if you had consumption. Like you could just tear off a little sleeve of your dress and cough blood into it.
Yes. So it started in 2002, around the time when the Olsen twins were oh my God, help me. Popularizing the whole boho chic thing. And it's somehow held on long enough because boho chic hasn't been in style this whole time. And now it's being sold by Free People in Anthropology, which I know I at least subscribe to Newly. And if you're interested in subscribing to Newly, you should let me know so I can give you a code. I haven't seen this, either that or maybe they don't make plus size clothing and so they don't show me these things.
Yeah. If you're going to look tattered, you have to be real thin.
Well, because, I don't think any of these women are wearing bras.
No. It's located it was flagshipped and started in Fredericksburg, Texas, which is a beautiful wine country in Central Texas if you get the chance.
Oh.
Yeah. Check it out. It's a little steampunky. Steampunky meets also spray paint, like
okay.
It's outfits can, a woman clocked it. She looked it up and it went viral because she saw that her mother was wearing it and learned that the outfit cost roughly $5,000, which is double the average monthly rent in the United States.
I mean, like, I feel like I can smell these photos, like
patchouli oil.
Patchouli. Absolutely, girl. They're all wearing weird hats, like some sort of Helena Bonham Carter. Like only she's allowed to dress like some sort of upholstery witch,
Upholstery. Ursula's sister, the upholstery witch.
Yes. Like this is like if you accidentally get locked into Joanne Fabrics overnight, and
it's cold.
These are the people like who are going to come and haunt you from like the crafts of Christmas past kind of energy. And it is so expensive. Like it's so expensive.
Yeah. It's you know what? If they found a niche, they weathered it for 21 years and good on them, question mark. because it feels like it's just taking like rich old white ladies' money. So maybe it's a big ruse, like a.
The only person who I can think of who could afford this, who dresses like this, is Steven Tyler.
Yes.
Like, of Aerosmith fame.
Yeah.
That's who you look like when you shop here. But you know what? Hey, I'm not going to yuck someone's fashion yum.
Yeah.
But my God, is it expensive? Oh my God.
Yeah, you'll have to get online and go to the website, Magnolia, some weird websites when you're looking for, your Magnolia Pearl shirt dupe.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of feel like you could find anything on there, but you have to be careful because sometimes, like when you're looking for something specific, not every website is legit.
Yes, some of them could be satirical. This story from the BBC.com, it tells us about a Tennessee Air National Guardsman that had been arrested by the FBI after applying to be an assassin on the satirical website Rent a Hitman.
Okay, so you cannot rent a hitman. Is that it? I want to confirm. You can't?
It's not by form. No, you would have to go to like Tor browsing. It's maybe there's some dark web stuff, but a .com that you can accessible from Chrome. Absolutely. You're not going to be finding a hitman.
All right. I mean, that's good. I don't need one. I'm just, it's good to know.
I always just do my research.
It's just nice to know. This is a 21-year-old man who says he needed money to support his family. So, that's a bummer. But also, it's hard to feel bad because he was definitely like not only applying to be a hitman, but then like following up on that application.
That's what you got to do to get a job.
I know it, girl. You got to be able to follow up. Yeah. He's former military and, he's in Tennessee. He's got a lot of guns. They sure do love him over there. And yeah, by the time he followed up, the website started responding via the FBI.
Yeah. I love though that he did the right move, which was like, you've got to customize your resume to every job.
Oh yeah.
So he made a complete CV, which highlighted his rifle and military experience. This wasn't the administrative clerk from 2014 to 2017. This was like only the gun stuff resume.
Yeah. He'd seen enough like hiring TikToks to know that your relevant experience has to be the first and foremost. Special skills, taking out a mark, it's
so, yeah, exactly.
The FBI ends up like setting up a meeting with this guy, like undercover, of course, with like like a fake packet of materials, pictures, things like that. And like a down payment and, just to test. I don't know. They set him up and then they knocked him down, arrested him. And if he is convicted, he could face up to 10 years in prison. I feel sad I don't know. This article really like keeps pushing home that he was just doing this so that he could support his family. And that makes me like feel for him for a second. And then I remember he was like literally willing to murder people for money. So then I'm like almost glad that he's in jail,
I feel like he would have been a really good worker though, because he customized his CV. And then when he met with the undercover agent, he said, do I need to provide a photo of the body to confirm? Like he's like setting the terms, following through. Like, I feel like he's doing the right things to be a good worker. He just chose the wrong industry.
The very wrong industry. So maybe he could have been an educator.
I was going to say, speaking of someone that chose the wrong industry to be in.
Yeah.
From WCTV.tv. No screaming, no yelling, no phones. The court records give details of a teacher accused of organizing fight clubs at Griffin Middle School. This, of course, is coming to us from Florida.
Yeah, we're in Florida, baby. This is a 23-year-old teacher and basically gives her sixth grade students, 30 seconds, no screaming, no yelling, no phones. just like get it out. And there was a phone, of course, and you see her at her desk watching the fight, kind of just not intervening, just be like, hey, no screaming, stop pulling hair, like keep it clean, basically.
Yeah, keep it clean. Yeah, she should have been the PE teacher. But
this is crazy.
And there were no records of her reporting the fights to the administrators. So she's just organizing, but like, what is she, middle school, 6th grade? Like, I get
that energy is there,
That energy's there. So I think her head's in the right place. And in the 50s, this would have flown. This would have been fine.
Yeah, like I feel like she might have just been reflecting on her middle school years and being like, if I would have just gotten the opportunity to get that out of my system, like me and that girl, we would have been able to be friends again after that,
Yeah.
I see the intent.
Yeah.
And I see, dare I say, almost the benefit of it. I do think that you should solve problems with words, but I don't know if you can use words with middle school kids. There's too much going on inside.
It's just the hormones bursting through them. I get just sometimes one of my best friends from elementary, junior high school, sometime in, I think, our 9th grade year, maybe, middle school, high school, early high school, we just got in a disagreement about a batting cage. And she just tackled me, and we just romped and rolled around, and we were just in it. And then we just kind of rolled around for a little bit, and then we stopped, and then it was like, oh, okay, we're best friends again.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the closest to like a fight I've ever been in.
It's just, I don't know. I do think maybe this is me as the drama kid, that maybe you could also solve this problem with just 30 seconds of uninterrupted dance, mosh pit, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, have you ever heard of like the dancing plagues from like the, 1500s and stuff?
No.
So there was a phenomena where, like, a lot of times it was younger girls in like that had been shipped off to like convents and things like this. So like 14-year-olds that had to become nuns because, their family died, and they're like, well, you're not married, so the only thing you could do is become a nun or starve to death. And they would start dancing, and then, or they would start dancing, and then it was like, okay, but like uncontrollable, unable to stop for like days on end. And sometimes villages would break out in these and stuff. So one village even just was like, fucking fine, and kind of herded these people on stage, and then got real dancers to come in, and then like music. Because like, maybe if they can just get this all out, they'll stop. But it was like something was compelling them. And then the dancers that they had hired eventually started doing they couldn't stop dancing either. So they were trying to be like, well, here's some rhythm at least, like follow that guy if you're going to just, but yeah, people like drop dead from just fucking dancing. Google dancing plagues. It's fucking nuts.
It's so weird. And you know how spooked they were about witches around that time and possession and stuff. That's super weird. That makes me almost think that maybe they did have possession back then, and that we just got rid of being possessed, with the internet or something like that.
Yeah.
Or that's like just like the plot of Footloose, right?
Yeah, probably.
I've never seen it, so I don't know.
No. So Kevin Bacon is a big city kid.
Are you about to really explain Footloose?
Only because I haven't seen it in 25 years, and I want to hear somebody yell at me for butchering the plot.
All right, I want to hear it.
Okay, so Kevin Bacon's a big city kid, and he goes to a small town, and this small town has a preacher, John Lithgow, and John Lithgow says, no dancing. And so dancing is banned, but Kevin Bacon just wants to dance. And then maybe the preacher's daughter, I don't know, some girl needs to get her thrills out. And she, at one point, isn't driving in one car, crawls out the window and crawls into another car via the window. High school, like shit where you don't know how to get this stuff out. So like in the 1500s, she would have been in a dancing plague, but instead she's like, how can I make myself almost die and feel something? I'm going to transfer from one vehicle to another. Somehow dancing happens. I don't know, but that's
This is
all I
the
remember.
sister from Ferris Bueller.
Oh, babe. What a babe.
A major babe. And then they do that one dance, or like she jumps and he puts her and he like catches her in the air. That's the same movie, right?
No, I think that's Dirty Dancing.
Oh, that's the sister from
I don't think
from Ferris Bueller.
Yeah.
I don't know who the main woman in Footloose is.
Again, I just know John Lithgow, Kevin Bacon, because I guess I'm a misogynist and can't think about women. I don't know.
Hey, that's a societal thing.
Yeah, I guess I only really, sometimes I'm like, ugh, am I a misogynist? I only pay attention to men.
Well, we're constantly being exposed to them, like in commercials and television and sports and cryptocurrency.
Yes, and you know who I would probably be able to spot anywhere is a distinct man is Shaq.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah. Well,
Shaq Diesel.
Cass, are you ready though?
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay, let's get to it. It's time for the dumpster fire of the week.
Oh my
God. So Shaq, again, ginormous man, famous man, has avoided being served in the FTX lawsuit for over 3 months. He was finally served over the weekend.
FTX, as a reminder, is the cryptocurrency or former cryptocurrency, I don't know, vestibule exchange that most famously was like headed by Tom Brady. Well, he wasn't headed, you know what I'm saying. Tom Brady was like their main guy.
Yeah.
But apparently Shaq, a 7'1" man, was also involved. Larry David, apparently a lot of celebrities were on it. And so all these celebrities are being sued, like, because they're like, you're a paid spokesperson for something that was fake. Which I don't know. Can you sue people over that anymore? Like if
the FCC, like, or I think, yes, you can. If they like knowingly endorse something, or like they don't say something's an ad and all sorts of stuff. Like with advertising, it is, if you're getting money for something, you have to be like very transparent about it in those ways. And
but if Progressive gives you a bad insurance claim, you can just go and sue Flo.
No, but he's saying that the advertisement and the claims that they made it sound right. So this man, Edwin Garrison of Oklahoma, brought the lawsuit, and he said that he had bought an unregistered security after seeing the ad, and the ad made claims that, it was deceptive and they weren't honest about their representations and their conduct. So he brought forth a class action lawsuit to hold them accountable for that. So as a celebrity, you have to be very careful about what you endorse.
Okay, but you're saying that all these like former NFL stars and golfers, like who endorse boner pills and like, or like, oh man, you turn 40, is your testosterone bad now? The MLB Network is playing in my house all the time, so I have to see all of these fucking ads, and they're always like, oh, I'm saying, man, that's why I take this. And it's like a non-FDA approved testosterone pill. You're saying that if someone has an issue with that they can come after these people? Did Shaq own part of FTX? Because I know
he was just a paid spokesperson.
Tom Brady owned part of FTX.
No, he was just a spokesperson.
He would be in trouble.
What? That's Tom Brady. Tom Brady didn't own part of it.
I thought he did. Didn't he invest he was just a ton of money in it?
He was just a spokesperson. No, if that thing claims, if those like athletes say like this will make you 7 foot tall, and it doesn't, but that's the claim. Oh wait, no, Tom Brady did own.
Yeah, he owned over 1 million shares in FTX. That's why I'm saying it makes sense.
But still, he was a spokesperson for it. They're not getting him on being an owner. They're getting him on the spokesperson side of it. If they say, hey, these boner pills will make you 7 foot tall and grow a third hand, and it doesn't, because that's clinically not what they're saying, but someone is paid to endorse that, yes, the FCC will fucking slap you. You can't be deceptive in advertising. The Federal Communications Commission is they're the Federal Trade Commission. Let me It's the consumer protection wing of the government. And if you say, hey, this will make you lose 40 pounds in a week, and that's obviously not true and can't happen. But if I go on there and I say that and I'm paid to say that, they can hold me accountable. Yeah, the FTC like fucking slaps you with shit.
Okay, well, if you don't think that using a Walmart Plus subscription actually saves you time in your day-to-day busy life, don't come suing me, okay?
Walmart Plus saves me time in my daily use.
I'm a paid actor, okay? Yeah. That's so like, I just want to put that out there. I think that the commercials have stopped running, but like, I just feel like I need to say that now, that if you feel like having a Walmart Plus employee come into your home and put your groceries away did not save you any time and in fact was an uncomfortable experience for you, don't sue me. Okay.
Walmart would be sued before you. Like you'd be okay. Because you are.
I hope.
Yeah. You'll be okay.
Shaq. But it's probably because FTX has no fucking money. And so everyone is like, okay, well, we need to sue someone. Apparently, Larry David's got this going on with him too. And okay, so what's really funny about this is that it took them 3 or 5 months or something like that to get to Shaq, which is crazy because Shaq does a weekly show about basketball on, I don't know, some network.
TNT.
Right.
He's a podcast host. He's a touring DJ.
Yeah.
That goes under the name DJ Diesel. But he avoided being served over 20 times in 3 months.
It's hilarious. Like, I feel like I could find Shaq in the next 24 hours if I had to. Like, how is he so hard to find?
Yeah, they said that, they tried serving him at his office, his multiple homes. And one process server even stopped because they got a threatening text message after they attempted to serve. They were trying, the lawyers of the case were trying to serve him through Instagram, Twitter, and email, but the judge denied the request. Mr. O'Neill's conduct over the last 5 months in evading service in this action is unprecedented and frankly shocking based upon the extent of public appearances, persona, and presence. Lawyers said in the court filing, he is the sole remaining defendant in this matter who has still not been served. So
funny.
Yeah.
I respect it in a way.
Yeah.
I don't think that this is his responsibility to pay out for this though.
No,
like, honestly.
Disagree.
Really?
If you didn't do the due diligence and you falsely represent something, like you as a spokesperson, it is your job to do the due diligence and confirm that you're not selling 7-foot hand-growing boner pills. And so that is how the FTC can get you accountable for these things. No, this is when like fucking, they say strawberries are in it and it's like no strawberry flavoring. This is an extension of that. The FTC you just can't go on there and make millions of dollars saying false stuff.
Well, maybe he didn't know.
Then it's his due diligence to look that up. That's the shitty thing about being an endorsement. I'm team this guy in Oklahoma.
Well, there you go.
You have to do your due diligence and you can be held liable because you've become the face of the brand.
You're right. I mean, because I don't like crypto, but it's funny because Shaq in interviews have been like, I don't really even believe in crypto. I just was paid to do this.
Which is honest, but don't
I
say
know.
That. Oh, they tweeted at Shaq at DJ Diesel, the law firm, and said, "We have been standing outside of your TNT studios in Atlanta all week, but your security guards will not let us in."
Well,
they started tweeting them. They're like, "We're trying to serve you." I always think, I think I would be a great process server.
I'm sure they're hiring.
I'm going to look that up because I would just have an excuse to wear the gaggle of wigs I've acquired through sketch comedy, the fake noses, the costuming. Like, I would fucking kill it as a process server.
Wouldn't you be afraid though?
I don't know. I mean, what are they going to do? Run away? Like,
will they punch you?
then they get double in trouble. But they will, if I have the fake nose on, they'll hit the fake nose first and it won't get to my nose. Again,
I like the idea of you
costuming,
getting pushed over, you know, and then that person running away and you screaming after them. Well, now you're going to get double in trouble.
I obviously was a teacher's dream in school. Like if they were like, okay, everyone, it must have been a teacher's dream. Like if they're like, hey, I have to, leave the classroom for a second, nobody speak, okay? And then somebody would be like, oh, well, what do you, and I'm like, oh, you're going to get in trouble. A professional narc. Yeah, I think I could do it.
What a thrill it was. I'm going to be right down the hall. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Erica, you're in charge.
Okay, great. I'm going to tell the teacher. And then they're like, well, you talked. It's like, oh no. Yeah, I was a little shithead, I'm sure.
What are you hoarding, shithead?
I'm hoarding a couple things, and they're mostly online. A TikTok account that I am obsessed with, and they're called Octopus Lover 8.
Oh, yeah.
His name is Jake Shane, and this comedian is doing like reactions of things in history. So like an example of one recently, the Mona Lisa posing for like after they get done posing. And it's just like him being like, thanks everybody, send me the proofs and I'll tell you which ones to edit. Okay, bye, let's go. Another one, George Washington finding out he's on the $1 bill, or a great one I just saw was iPhone 9 realizing they skipped from 8 to 10. Like they're like at an award show, so they have to pretend to clap, and then they call their mom. And they're like, Mom, they just skipped right over me. No, they just announced iPhone X, which is 10. Like it's so fucking funny. Like this kid's super great.
Funny.
And I'm also watching Jury Duty on Freevee, which is Amazon Prime's free streaming I don't know. Freevee, it's called Jury Duty. And so what happens is it's a documentary, and they tell this guy, hey, we're going to do a documentary about serving on a jury. Well, everyone but this guy is an actor. And so but he's never the butt of the joke. He's always kind of the hero in the situation, which is nice. But James Marsden plays himself on the show,
which I love.
So James Marsden's trying to, get himself excused from jury duty. He's like, I'm probably too famous to be here. And the guy's like, what have you been in? It's so good. And then one guy's like, I'm gonna try to get out of jury duty by saying I'm racist. And so he does that. And then the judge is like, are you racist? He's like, no, I'm sorry. And then he gets picked for the jury. And he's like, everyone, I just want to say, like, I was just trying to get out of it. I'm not racist. And people are like, funny. Yeah, don't do that next time. Don't say it. Like it's so funny. I really love jury duty. And he's never, again, the guy who isn't the actor is never the butt of the joke, which is the nice thing. Because if it was just a major prank, there's TV, there's cameras everywhere because they say they're doing a documentary. But this guy must not watch any television, because like every person on here, I'm like, oh, that was the dead guy's cousin on Law and Order 4 years ago. Like it just, everyone you've recognized in some way, just a lot of character actors, but it's really cute.
Everyone that
true.
That's probably, if anything, the jury duty selection process, especially one that's going to be a documentary, is the ideal way to find the proper candidate for your fake show, because you have the opportunity to ask them all kinds of things to find out if they, I would
during voir dire or whatever. Yeah. They asked James Marsden if he's ever served on a jury before. And he goes, yes, I have. And they're like, what case was that? And he goes, oh, at Cannes Film Festival.
Hilarious.
Sorry, what are you hoarding?
Oh my God. I'm hoarding an Instagram account. It's Republicans. So spelled like Republicans, but RU instead of RE in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
This person is, I don't know if they're using AI software or if they are just good at Photoshop, but they're taking all of the ghastly Republicans like Mike Pence and Ted Cruz and Mitch McConnell, they're taking all of these people and photoshopping them in the most sickening drag.
Oh.
And it's a great little account done so well done, honestly, that some of them, like, I feel like if I were to send one of these to like my mom, she would be like, oh my God, when did Mike Pence do that? Like, because my mom, sorry, I know you listen, but you believed that the Seahawks were stomping on an American flag because of a bad Photoshop photo that you saw on Facebook. And that was bad Photoshop. So
these AI images are very good.
These are very good and convincing. And so I honestly feel like have some fun with the boomers in your life and share photos from this Republican's account on your story or in a forwarded email. I don't know. However boomers communicate, and shake stuff up and see if you can't maybe change some hearts and some minds.
Beautiful, beautiful message. Yeah.
What are you throwing out?
So I'm dog sitting for a friend, and the thing I forget about dogs and dog people and walking dogs is that having adorable little puppies and dogs on a leash entitles people to talk to you.
Oh yeah.
Because they care. They're like, oh, these are the cute. And of course they're the cutest. Vivian and New Guy are the cutest. But I'm clearly just out of bed. I'm in my pajamas in a sweatshirt. There's no bra on me. I don't want to sit and talk about the dogs at 7:20 in the morning with a stranger.
Yeah, but that's how dog people look in the morning. So you're on brand.
But I wasn't giving out the, hey, come talk to me about these dogs vibe.
Girl, that doesn't matter.
God,
that doesn't matter.
Talking to strangers because you have dogs, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. I just want to be anonymous. I just want to be a floating orb taking them out to do their business. I don't need to interact with everyone.
I know that might not be a popular opinion that you are holding, but I agree with you as someone who dreads small talk. And, but that being said, because I'm such a gremlin, when people do take the time to talk to me, I usually do walk away from the interaction being like, that was nice. I probably needed that. So, just saying. But if all else fails, find some old Apple headphones, and maybe having the cord will, especially if you make a big song and dance of like, oh, my headphone, I won't stay in, or the classic, girl. I mean, you're talking to the expert of avoiding interactions with strangers. The classic phone call, pretend that you're on the phone.
Yeah, that's good. I just feel like people aren't respecting the boundaries. Like, you have earbuds in, but earbuds don't mean anything to anybody. You have to see the strings. You're absolutely right.
You got to see the strings,
I'll
or you got to be
at the
messing
earbud,
with them.
And it's just, yeah.
You got to be messing with them, or you got to be like, oh yeah, I think I can do that later. I was just gonna. Well, what are you packing? Because I was gonna like whatever you have to say. And then, people will just wave at your dog and keep on walking by. But again, I mean, sometimes we need it, sometimes it's nice. I'll admit it.
Yeah. Well, what are you throwing away?
Ever since the Love is Blind live event didn't happen, right? I've really found myself sour towards Netflix, and it's given me maybe some perspective that I've needed about, like, I know that there's still good content here and there coming out on Netflix because I know Beef is quite popular and stuff. So I'm not going to say that everything coming out of Netflix is like trash, but I will say that like probably like 80 to 90% of the things that are being released as Netflix originals like have not been something that like I have felt interested to watch. Like the best stuff coming out of Netflix is the fact that they're dubbing good things from other countries. But I really was like loving Love is Blind, but I don't know, that live event and like learning what has been going into like Love is Blind and all these people breaking their NDAs and talking about their experiences Plus, we have a looming writers' strike happening in
Mhm.
Los Angeles, and just knowing how much these streaming companies are swearing up and down that they can't afford to pay people the residuals that they deserve. And you think about the fact that Netflix, I don't know if you know these things, listeners, but Netflix, if you are the creators of Beef, they're not going to tell you what your metrics are. And Netflix likes to say that they don't tell creators what their metrics are because they don't want people to, they don't want these metrics to interrupt their art. Like, we don't want to tell people if their show's performing bad because we don't want them to get in their head about it. In reality, what they're doing is they're not letting people know what they are worth. Because if your show is doing good, you don't know about it either. So Netflix is hiding from you what you're worth. They're, one of the main contenders along with Amazon and Disney and all these people who are fighting with writers and subsequently actors, directors, everyone, by not paying them what they're worth to make their content. They're laying off people. And then they had this live event that was a complete disaster with no remorse for it. And I'm not going to lie to you, girl. I'm ready to cancel my Netflix subscription and just move on with my fucking life because I can't think of anything. The only thing on there that I like to watch that I feel like I will miss is my F1 Drive to Survive show, but there's not going to be another season of that for like a year. And like the last season wasn't even that good. And like, I also feel like by keeping to watch Netflix, like all they're putting out is reality. And reality is like the reality TV existed before the last writer's strike, but it didn't explode until the 2007 writers strike because they didn't have writers, so they had to do unscripted shows. And I just feel like the more that I contribute to the viewership of these shows that are killing the industry that I love and that I work in, I'm just not doing myself a service. So I'm throwing out Netflix, and I don't know if I'm going to continue to use it. I think they say that their main things are customer satisfaction and profit. And I obviously think that they're lying about one of those. So that's what I'm throwing out, babe. I'm doing it. I don't care. Like, fix your fucking, you used to be awesome and dope and really cool and change things and seem like a good opportunity for artists. And now you're just seeing this ugly ghoul in sheep's clothing, and you're like, all you care about is profit, and you're actually contributing to killing this industry, and fuck you.
Sing it, sister. We support the writers. WGA strong. I mean, not in it, but I support any I support any strike. I'm on board.
You're very pro-union, and I like that about you.
Very pro-union. Very pro-union. And where can the people find you, Cassandra?
Girl, I'm not gonna lie to you. You can't really find me fucking anywhere. I went private on Instagram again because all these like weird porn accounts kept liking my stories.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't like the vibe. So I'm private on Instagram again. If you're listening to this podcast and you don't already follow me, or maybe you did follow me and then I accidentally deleted you because I didn't know who you were, I'm sorry. Request me again and just let me know in a DM that you're a listener, and then you're welcome to follow me on @CassCardiness. But also, my favorite place to be found is right here on the Trashy podcast.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Well, you can find me at Iconic Erica Curry on TikTok and Instagram, but you can always find this podcast at Trashy Pod on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I mean, Twitter, we're never going to pay for it, so it's basically a waste at this point. We'll see if we continue to update there.
Sure.
But we are growing on TikTok and Instagram. Again, Trashy Pod. You can also find us at our merch store, which is trashypodcast.threadless.com, where we have wonderful shows shirts that support this podcast. And you can find everything about us on trashytrashypodcast.com. You can email in why you're trash to trashytrashypodcast@gmail.com. Send us listener stories, or you can tell us why you're trash. We absolutely love it. And as always, you'll find us here every Monday on the Trashy Trashy Pod. Hey, Cass.
What's going on, girl?
Stay garbage.
You stay garbage, girl.
I will. Bye-bye.
Bye.